Students rejoice as SEA results are released. New acting chief administrator appointed. Tobago Heritage Festival launched over the weekend. And in sport, 9 Tobagonians included in NACAC Championship contingent. Good evening, I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards. This is the Tobago Updates television news for Monday, 3rd July 2023. Topping the news tonight, today was a big day for primary school students as SEA results were released at noon. We visited some schools across Tobago as they received their results, and we have their reactions in this story.
Primary school students wrote the SEA exam on Wednesday, March 29th and waited for almost 4 months to see their results and find out where they will be continuing the next phase of their education. Students were asked how they felt about their results and if the exam was challenging or not.
I feel happy and sad at the same way.
Why?
Because I went to my first choice, but I'm not going to the same school with some of my friends.
Alright, and what school did you pass for?
Bishops.
Alright, and how do you feel about passing for the school?
I feel so excited.
Alright, thank you.
In my opinion, it was easy for me.
It was challenging, but we made through. The math was a little bit difficult, but I made through. I passed my second choice.
What school of that?
Come, Signal her secondary.
And how do you feel about passing for secondary?
I'm very excited. A bit difficult because of maths.
Alright, and how do you feel about your exam results?
Kind of bad because most of my friends not going to school.
Asked for my second choice.
And how do you feel about that?
Good. I feel good because I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. At least I passed.
I feel happy, but at the same time I feel sad because I really want to go Scarborough Sec.
I feel very proud, but I'm still shaking.
I don't know how to feel.
Do you think mommy?
Since 2022, the Ministry of Education chose not to reveal the top achievers. This decision disappointed many parents and students wishing to publicly celebrate their accomplishments. Meanwhile, head of tutor Martin Lumking sent his best wishes to the students and teachers who would be going on a well-deserved vacation as they need to be re-energized for September's new term.
Separate in issue, we'd like to wish all our schools the best. SEA results would be out at 12. Our concern is if the system, the IT system, can take the load of the number of persons trying to get in. And the SEA issue is another issue we can get into and speak for the entire day. But we'd like to wish all the best to our students and teachers.
Before the release of results, Lumking raised concerns about whether the IT system could handle the large volume of traffic by students trying to access their results. Problems were in fact encountered, preventing many students from being able to see their results at 12 noon. I am Luke James Shrim reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
After over a month without a chief administrator, the Public Service Commission officially appointed one. She began her job today and officially met with Chief Secretary Farley Augustine. Piana Brebner has the details.
With the vacant position of Chief Administrator existing since the 17th of May 2023, the Public Service Commission officially appointed Denise Tobago to act in the position. The announcement was made on Monday morning through the office of the Chief Secretary. According to a statement, the THA was informed on Friday by the Prime Minister's office that Tobago will serve as the acting Chief Administrator. Tobago has held the position of Administrator for several THA divisions, including the Division of Education and the Division of Health. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine spoke to the media about her appointment at the opening of the Flow headquarters.
So I welcome her this morning and had a first meeting and sit down with her this morning, and that will return some normalcy to the space. For starters, the HR matters within the THA can get handled because she has delegated responsibilities.
He said the top priorities for the new Chief Administrator are granting of the FUL license to game wardens and the implementation of the new Procurement Act. Over the past few weeks, the lack of a Chief Administrator was the center of a political tug-of-war between the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister. It resulted in both men declaring their distrust in one another. I am Piana Brebner for Tobago Updates Television News.
Well, 1 month after the release of the controversial audio recording involving officials of the THA, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service launched an investigation into the matter. However, contrary to recent reports, members of the Executive Council have denied being interviewed by the police to date. Janine Campbell tells us more.
On May 23rd, the island of Tobago was in a quandary as an audio recording was leaked on social media with the potential to incriminate senior officials of the Tobago House of Assembly. The recording highlighted an alleged scheme to hire party propagandists within the THA with the intention of shaping the narrative. Further, the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, and the protagonist of this account remained silent on the issue, refusing to speak to the media for 3 weeks, while his opponents called for his resignation and subsequent return to the polls. With a whirlwind of mixed emotions on the veracity of the audio recording, several political activists, commentators, and members of civil organizations came to the public fore, highlighting their position on the matter. Chairman of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, posited that the THA needs to be held at a higher level of transparency and accountability. He described the situation as a conspiracy to defraud the THA and by extension the public purse. On the other hand, commentator Max James denied the authenticity of the recording and accused the People's National Movement of craftily releasing the audio, insisting that they possess a propaganda machine in which voices can be modified to make mischief. However, on June 16th, the Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine broke his silence and confirmed the legitimacy of the conversation. He noted that the context was set at a strategic planning meeting held last year. He further noted that it was merely an idea and that it has not been implemented, as he said they discussed the good, the bad, and the ugly. Additionally, he chastised the PNM for their hypocrisy, articulating that the strategy discussed was in fact a page out of the PNM's playbook. Augustine claimed the PNM hired workers to manage fake profiles, alluding to the dismissal of some of these employees. Consequently, the White Collar Crime Unit, Anti-Corruption Bureau, Fraud Squad, and Financial Investigations Bureau of the TTPS have propelled a probe into the audio gate. They are investigating any possible acts of fraudulence or conspiracy thereof. Over the weekend, allegations circulated indicating that members of the Executive Council were being interviewed by the TTPS. The Office of the Chief Secretary issued an urgent response Sunday evening denying all claims that any Executive Council member was subjected to police questioning. Subsequently, OCS called on a particular media house to retract the report and provide an apology. The article was retracted, but no apology has been issued. In a telephone conversation with an officer of the White Collar Unit, it was highlighted that it was a delicate investigation and as such, no updates can be provided at this time. The probe continues. Janine Campbell, Tobago Updates Television News.
Find out more about the launch of the 36th staging of the Tobago Heritage Festival after this.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Dance Ensemble Tobago present the return July 8th, 2023 from 5 p.m. Dance Sport Championship and Dancing with Caribbean Stars 10th edition at the Shore Park Complex, representing for 2023 THA Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin. Rise and Shine morning show host Brother B. former host of Let's Talk Tobago, Avian Parks, Lady Morge of Pulse 89.5 FM, Cara Vaughan of Freedom 106.5 FM, Michelle Borrell of 107.7 FM. For more information, contact Tobago Danceport at gmail.com or Miss N White 772-9049 or Miss N Dick 340-5758. Admission only $150. Children only $75 at the door. Tickets available at D&D Jeweler, Tobago United Corporate, Milford 24 Gas Station, Crown Point, Tobago, and Dance Ensemble. Class members after party from 10 p.m. till midnight. Don't you miss this one.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
Well, July has been heralded as Heritage Month by the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. As a result, the Tobago Heritage Festival was launched on Saturday, 1st July, under the theme Homage, All Are We and All Who Are We Be. Here's more from Candice Jackson.
All is set for the 2023 hosting of the Tobago Heritage Festival at a lower cost than in previous years, according to the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Megan Morrison.
I can say the budget for this year's festival is roughly $4 million, and I can also say that as I stand here, we have commitments of over $300,000 in sponsorships thus far.
The last year, the division spent $5.8 million to host the Tobago Heritage Festival. Under the PNM administration, the cost was often in the range of $12 million. The theme for this year's edition is Homage, and according to Cultural Officer Jesse Taylor, it is poignant.
Homage was designed out of an experience that we'd have had past in times past, and because of COVID, because the distance we have come after such a long time, and those difficulties we have faced along the way, characterized by all those people who have made all that we now have as treasures.
Morrison explained that it shows to recognize, to pay homage to the past as they pivot into making July Heritage Month.
One of the major changes this year is signaling that July is Heritage Month, and that would send out a call to all persons in Tobago, all stakeholders. So we have included new events such as a symposium to give the opportunity to persons in Tobago, persons outside of Tobago who have been following the Heritage Festival over the years, to be able to inform where do we go next.
According to the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tashia Burris, the need to pivot came from the unsettling trend developing over the recent editions of the festival.
I see some of the authenticity of what we present is derailing, right? We don't see some authentic dances as it used to be. So,
among the events for this year's edition is a Yam Festival in Goodwood, the Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, a Sea and Pan Festival in Blackrock, a Rum Shop Lime in Scarborough, and the Salaka Feast in Pembroke. The Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Pageant and the Heritage Calypso Monarch will be combined with the opening gala in a scaled-down event. Each event is supposed to teach patrons about the meaning behind traditions. For instance, with the Mariah Old Time Wedding, as explained by Crystal Solomon.
The coal pot. The coal pot is to say that the wife is domesticated. She can cook and she can clean. The lady with the canister, she is not leaving home naked. Also, you will see a lady with a young breadfruit. That is to show that the groom is getting a virgin bride.
I am Candice Jackson, reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
Upon assuming duties in the THA, the Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, Natisha Charles Panton, said she inherited a division with more challenges than she realized. However, in 1.5 years, she was able to generate profit in US dollars through various initiatives. Candice Jackson tells us more.
The COVID-19 pandemic and increase in natural disasters provoked the need for greater food security in Tobago. It guided a mandate that the Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, Letitia Charles Panton, adopted when she took the role in December 2021. She, however, did not realize that she was inheriting facilities that were in disrepair.
Some of them, the roof, the ceiling is so heavy with wood ends. You have rats, you have all sorts of vermin, right? I don't know if that is what they have been producing, but I'm telling you.
It led Charles Panton to wonder what the previous administration accomplished during their time in office.
Well, the minority accused us of, non-performance. And, my question to the minority was, at the end of my speech, you should be able to tell me what the previous administration would have produced or manufactured.
So far, the division spent $1.4 million in renovating facilities around Tobago, with plans to do more in the next fiscal year. In the meantime, their limited developmental budget of $26 million cannot be stretched very far, as they have to pay salaries for workers. The previous administration hired dozens of workers under projects which are not included in the recurrent expenditures.
It is difficult if you hire people under development because the money isn't there in advance. It's not like recurrent. The accountants, they work tirelessly to ensure that persons are paid, but they must get money first. So it's not like there's money sitting there and they're not paying the workers.
Despite these and other challenges, projects such as a food hub generated over $64,000, while the capital of Paradise earned a profit of over $113,000 in US dollars.
In the last administration, even when the capital of Paradise existed, nothing was ever published. You never knew what the boat made at all.
Charles Panton said despite the small budget granted to her division, she is trying her best to ensure initiatives implemented are generating returns on investments for food production, for crop production, poultry, and livestock. Meanwhile, they are encouraging farmers to produce crops that are commonly used by the public, such as onions.
As a matter of fact, I didn't even mention in the budget that we are now growing onions as a result of the technical officers working with Cardi. Right?
So no longer we have to get the onions from China.
And I'm telling you, this is real life information. I tested it myself.
I am Candace Jackson reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
Martin Lumpkin, president of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, appeared on the Tobago Updates morning show this morning concerning the actions taken by Trinity College Mocha. The school prevented over 20 male students from crossing the stage at their graduation ceremony last Tuesday due to hairstyle infractions. Jenny Campbell tells us more.
Tutor President Martin Lumpkin said that rules make up the fabric of our society and ought to be maintained. He further argued that should there be discrepancies with any school rule, parents could take it up with bodies such as the PTA, tutor, the Ministry of Education. But it is not right to deliberately break the rules.
Supposed to be reflective of the society, and if it is that we have to change rules, then there has to be a process and there has to be conversation. We do not encourage persons to flout the rules. We do not encourage persons to flout the law and then say that the rules are wrong, and so because it's wrong, I'm going to do it still.
When questioned about why the hairstyle rule was not being enforced prior to the graduation ceremony, Lumpkin noted that graduation is in fact a privilege and not a necessity, as it is not a part of the administration's terms of employment. He further communicated that the ceremony was run by the church, which had its own stipulations. However, he commented that more caution should have been exercised.
And we have to be careful of how we put things out there, because the perception can be that we are applying the rules in one instance and we're not applying it in the other. And so the denial of the students having to participate, and they weren't really denied.
On the other hand, Lumpkin welcomed dialogue on the possible modification of these rules, hinting at them being discriminatory in nature.
And so if it is that we are looking specifically at hairstyles, and I know that you can lean on the argument of ethnicity as well too. And, you know, it goes way back in terms of slavery days and, you know, trying to conform and, well, get people to a certain behavior. And, you know, it's colonial in some of the instances. And so
Chane Campbell, Tobago Updates Television News.
Well, Tobago gears up to represent at the NACAC Championship. The details when we return.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Several Tobago athletes are preparing to represent Trinidad and Tobago at the North American, Central American and Caribbean Athletic Association Championship in the Dominican Republic. Here's Marcus Daniel with all the details.
Athletes on the national contingent, 7 are from Tobago, gearing up to compete at the NACAC Championship in the under 13 and under 15 age groups. The championship is scheduled to take place in the Dominican Republic from July 15th to the 16th. The 12-member contingent consists of 7 athletes and 2 coaches from Tobago. Among those chosen to represent the red, white and black are Deja Reed, Michaela Cupid, Lashaya Bigheart, Aaron Rajman, Rihanna Regis, Jafari Edwards and Curran Henry. The lone Trinidad athlete is Michael Paul. The 2 Tobago-based coaches are Kelsey Toussaint Reed and Soren Bishop. Meanwhile, Sean Stewart and Michelle Stout Lopez make up the rest of the team. Stay tuned to Tobago Updates Sports for more information on our athletes' performances at the NACAC Championship. Marcus Daniel, Tobago Updates Sports.
So fitness enthusiasts flock to Buku Heritage Park to compete for the title of Tobago's strongest man and woman. And Marcus Daniel has all the action. Here's him once again.
Scores of fitness enthusiasts descended on Buku Heritage Park to compete for the title of Tobago's strongest man and woman in bodybuilding, powerlifting and endurance. The event was in its 2nd annual edition, hosted by Kelton Thomas Bodybuilding Foundation. In the lightweight class, Michael Jacko was a clear winner with 1,390 points.
Good lift.
Nuko Bird was 2nd and Kowing Darimpo took 3rd. Haruna Henry dominated the middle class to take 1st place with 1,325 points. Second place, Luciano Navas was second in some distance behind with 1,075 points. Kenroy Evans had to set over third with 975 points. Meanwhile, in the heavyweight battle, Joel Duke won the showdown between himself and Critias Julian.
585 pounds.
Don't be ungrateful.
Lift. Good lift.
The power lifters event comprised lifts, squats, bench presses, deadlifts, and barbell curls. In the very rigid endurance category, Kizlan Kerr took top honors with 127 points. Ajani George with 121 points finished second, and Critias Julian with 115 points grabbed bronze. Over to the females, there was no stopping Taliba Mohammed, who piled up 640 points from the 6 events. Defending champion Terry Lee Beard accumulated 630 points for second place, and Michelle Woods scored 590 points to take third place. In the endurance category, Beard prevailed with 66 points, beating Woods and Kavita Nahu into second and third respectively. Over $20,000 in prizes were distributed at the prize-giving ceremony last Saturday. Marcus Daniel, Tobago Update Sports.
Well, that's it for sports. More news when we return.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Are you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
Larger countries have failed in their promise to provide $100 billion in climate resilience financing for small island developing states such as in the Caribbean. As the CARICOM heads of government meet to celebrate 50 years of unity, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres addressed issues of climate change and others affecting the region. Here's Candice Jackson with more.
Caribbean islands are more affected by climate change than other large countries around the world. However, its economies struggle to generate strategies to mitigate against it. The United Nations committed to financing some of the resilience strategies for SIDs, yet very little has materialized. Speaking to the media in a joint press conference with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres assured he is working on a solution as he meets with CARICOM members.
The international financial system that we have was created after the Second World War, when Trinidad and Tobago was not yet a member, and the majority of today's countries were not yet members. We need to adapt the international financial system to the realities of today's economy and to make it more fair and more effective.
While the UN Sustainable Goals dictates that all countries should reduce their reliance on fossil fuels and transition to renewable energy by 2030, the UN Secretary General said that facilities should be in place to consider the unique challenges of each state in making the transition.
I have advocated what I call a just and equitable transition, which means not all countries need to be treated in the same way, And the rhythm and the logic of the phase-out is different according to the different conditions that different countries might have.
Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General told the media that he is enjoying his time in Trinidad and Tobago and recognized the contributions of the nation towards human rights, starting with former President and Prime Minister Arthur N.R. Robinson.
And it continues Trinidad and Tobago's legacy of leadership in multilateral affairs. From the champion of international justice and one of the main architects of International Criminal Court, the late Arthur Robinson, to pioneers of the law of the sea, like Lennox Bala and Anthony Luckey.
Guterres is joining CARICOM as they celebrate 50 years. CARICOM was birthed through the signing of the Chaguaramas Treaty on July 4, 1973. This is Candice Jackson reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
Recapping the headlines, students rejoice as SCA results are released. New acting chief administrator appointed. Tobago Heritage Festival launched over the weekend, and in sport, 9 Tobagonians included in NACAC championship contingents. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, thanking you so much for joining us and wishing you a good night.